If you want to earn $100,000 or a $200,000 salary in Canada, then what do you need to do in order to get there? Now, every newcomer to Canada, whether you are an international student or a new immigrant, hopes to buy or dreams to buy a house in Canada at some point in time. So yes, everything has now become expensive in Canada, and I think it affects international students the most because what's up YouTube, it's Shivansh here. A lot of international students and new immigrants who are planning to move to Canada in 2023 are confused whether Canada will still be the #1 destination in 2023 for students to study abroad or for immigrants to settle in a new country. Now, because of global recession fears in 2023, it is very natural for international students and immigrants to think about things like, will I be able to get a job once I reach there? Will I be able to pay off my education loan or earn enough money to save up for my next semester or my next school year's tuition fee? Or will I be able to pay off my monthly expenses and just build a great life for myself in Canada? Now, all these are very valid and important points to consider if you are planning to move to Canada in 2023. And in this video, we will talk about all these things and discuss some ground realities of Canada. And towards the end of this video, I will also give you my opinion about what do I think, whether it is actually worth it for you guys to move to Canada in 2023 or not. But before we do that, please make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, because that is what motivates me to create more such videos for you. And I need your help and support in growing this channel, because if you like and share my videos, it will help me reach more number of people who would also benefit from it. With that being said, let's start this video. So the very first thing that you need to note here is that renting has become super expensive in Canada in the last 1 year. And if you are going to move to Canada, then hands down your biggest monthly expense is going to be your rental accommodation expense. Now, up to a couple of years ago, students were able to find rental accommodations for as low as $350 or $250 per month. And now those same rental accommodations can cost you about $500, $600, even $700 or $800 depending on which exact city you live in, whether it is a basement apartment or a condo, and what's the number of people that you are willing to share that accommodation with. And this is straight away going to eat up a huge chunk of your monthly salary, because as a student, your monthly salary is already capped at $1,000 or $1,200 because students are mostly only allowed to work up to 20 hours per week. And out of those $1,200, let's say if $700 go into your monthly rental expenses alone, then that's almost 60% of your salary just going towards your rental expenses. So if you are not able to find a cheap accommodation for, let's say, $400 or $500, and if you have to pay $700 or $800, then that can become very stressful as a student, because your salary is already capped and you also might have to save up for your next semester or your next school year's tuition fee. And some students might also have to pay off their education loan or send money back home to India. And if you are a family, or if you're looking to rent out an entire apartment for yourself, then a 1-bedroom apartment can cost you around $1,800 per month, and a 2-bedroom apartment can easily cost you around $2,500 per month, depending on which exact city you live in. Now, keep in mind that these estimates are only for the suburbs, and if you choose to live in downtown Toronto or downtown Vancouver, then in that case, your monthly rental expenses can be even higher than this. So it has become more expensive to rent a place in Canada, and it certainly affects your monthly budget, where you are left with less amount of money every single month in your savings account. The second reality that you need to be aware of is that there is a great possibility of a recession in 2023. Meta has laid off 11,000 employees, Amazon has also laid off 10,000 people, and these are just the top companies. There have been so many other companies who have laid off people throughout the second half of 2022, and this might become even worse in 2023 because companies are now being even more conservative and they're trying to cut down on all unnecessary expenses. And Canada is not recession proof. If there's going to be a global recession, it's also going to impact Canada, and in fact, hiring has already slowed down at a lot of Canadian companies as compared to, let's say, 1 year ago. So if you are coming to Canada in 2023, then you also have to consider the recession scenario, and you have to be prepared that it might take you several months to get a full-time job in your desired role, because the hiring will be reduced and more number of people will be applying for the same number of jobs. The next thing that you need to be aware of is that inflation is record high in Canada right now. Groceries have become super expensive, and the cost of almost every single item has gone up, including cars or vehicles, food, or even general household items. The inflation in Canada in 2022 has been record high at 7 to 8%, and because of this, cost of regular grocery items has also gone up significantly. Grocery that used to cost me around $90 in 2020 or in 2021, the same amount of grocery in 2022 costs around $125 to $130. And just a few days ago, I went to my local Walmart and I bought 6 to 7 items, and I was shocked because my total bill was around $50. And the crazy part is that I didn't even buy any fancy items. All those 6 to 7 items were just basic necessities which anybody would need to buy pretty much every single week. So yes, everything has now become expensive in Canada, and I think it affects international students the most because your monthly earning potential is capped, as we discussed before, and even $100 increase in your monthly expenses or your grocery expenses can significantly impact your monthly budget or completely mess up your monthly budget. Another thing that you need to be aware of is that housing affordability is at an all-time low at this point in time in Canada, especially around the GTA region or around the Vancouver area. Now, every newcomer to Canada, whether you are an international student or a new immigrant, hopes to buy or dreams to buy a house in Canada at some point in time. And that dream has become very difficult for newcomers to achieve because of rising property prices and increasing interest rates. Now, even with a $100,000 salary in Canada, you will unfortunately not be able to buy a house or even a condo in the GTA region. And mind you, $100,000 per year is actually a very good salary in Canada. So basically, the increasing property prices and the rising interest rates have made it almost impossible for first-time home buyers to afford to buy a house in Canada. So given all these issues with a high cost of living, rising inflation, increasing property prices, low affordability, and a recession around the corner, is this actually the right time for you to move to Canada, or is it actually worth moving to Canada in 2023 or not? So in my opinion, yes, it is still worth it to move to Canada in 2023 as an international student or as a new immigrant, but only if you satisfy some requirements that I think are extremely important for you to fulfill if you are planning to move to Canada in 2023. So the very first thing is that you need to make sure that you have at least $8,000 in your bank account per person if you are planning to move to Canada as a family. And if you are an international student, then in that case you should be fine because you should already have $10,000 of your GIC money. Now this money will serve as a backup and will make sure that you are able to survive in your first 6 months in Canada and are able to manage your monthly living expenses, considering the fact that rental prices have gone up, groceries and other items have become more expensive because of inflation, and it might take you a few months to find a proper job in Canada because of the recession scenario. The second thing is that if you are planning to come to Canada as an international student, then please make sure that you are choosing a course that will enable you to earn at least around $60,000 per year after you graduate. And choose a course or choose a profession that has the potential for you to earn over $100,000 per year after gaining a few years of relevant experience. A lot of international students make this mistake where they blindly choose a course or they don't do proper research about the scope of their course and their profession in Canada, and because they don't choose the right course to study in Canada, they are not able to acquire the right skills that will help them a high paying job, and eventually what happens is that they're stuck in a minimum wage job even after graduation, and then it becomes very difficult to break out of that cycle because you're just living paycheck to paycheck and you're not really able to upskill yourself and get into a higher paying job at that point. So choosing the right course is the single most important thing that you need to do before coming to Canada. So please make that decision wisely, and please don't make this mistake and choose a course that will at least allow you to earn a decent income in Canada. And if you are moving here as a permanent resident or on a work permit, then you need to make sure that you have the right skills that will help you get a good job in Canada quicker. So whatever profession you belong to, please make sure to do the proper research, do the extra certifications and courses that will help you acquire the right skills that are needed by the employers in Canada, so that you can get your dream job as soon as possible after you come to Canada. Because now is not the time to be like everybody else. If the recession becomes worse in 2023, then a lot of highly qualified people from the top companies will be laid off. And if you are a newcomer to Canada, then you will also have to compete with all those people for the exact same jobs. And that's why you need to acquire specialized skills that will set yourself apart from the crowd, and so that you have a better chance of getting into a job that everybody wants. And the last thing that I want you to focus on is having a vision. What sort of career do you want when you come to Canada? What are your goals for the next 1, 3 and 5 years? If you want to earn $100,000 or a $200,000 salary in Canada, then what do you need to do in order to get there? If you want to buy a house in the next 3 to 5 years, then how much money do you need to save? And what are the other things that you need to do in order to fulfill your personal, professional as well as your financial goals? If you are able to focus on all these things that I've mentioned, that I can guarantee that coming to Canada will definitely be worth it for you. You'll be able to make a great life for yourself in Canada, both professionally as well as personally, and you'll also be able to achieve all your financial goals. But if you don't focus on these things and your motivation to come to Canada is just that your friends are moving here, or you just want to move away from India or just settle abroad, then unfortunately it might become very difficult for you to survive in Canada, and you might also regret your decision at some point. So that's all I had for you. I hope you guys found some value out of this video. Please make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel to watch more such videos about studying and working in Canada. And please make sure to share this video with your friends and family who you think might be interested in this topic or who might benefit from the things that I've talked about in this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.